Hello, this is Adolf. Welcome to the video lecture series on the course of design of steel structure. The previous video we started our design of the fillet weld. So in this video we are going to see the continuation of the design of fillet weld and the design of butt weld. Next we see the design procedures of the fillet weld. In the design procedure, first we start with the limit state design concept, call it as LSD, as per IS 800 2007. Design shear strength of fillet weld, PWD. This PWD means the design shear strength of fillet weld. Let FWN, it is equal to nominal or characteristic shear capacity of the fillet weld. It is equal to Fu dash by root 3. This Fu means ultimate stress. So Fu dash is equal to lesser of, where how you get the Fu dash means lesser of ultimate stress of connected member, or lesser of ultimate stress of weld. So Fu dash is the lesser of Fu of connected member and Fu of weld. So once we find the nominal or characteristics of shear capacity, then we will go with the shear capacity of the fillet weld. WD is design shear capacity of fillet weld, that is equal to FWN by gamma MW. This gamma NW is called partial safety factor. Partial safety factor against weld strength. So this equation will turn, if we substitute nominal or characteristic shear capacity, then the design shear capacity will be equal to Fu dash by root 3 of partial safety factor. This partial safety factor will be 1.25, lesser for workshop welding and 1.50 or higher for site or field welding. So our design shear strength of fillet weld piece its DW is equal to effective sectional area of fillet weld into design shear capacity of fillet weld. The design shear capacity of the fillet weld, that is effective area AE into F of D. This AE, how we will find out, effective length into throat thickness into F shear capacity, design shear capacity from the use of is by gamma MW. So this is the design shear capacity of fillet weld. If your LJ, that is, if your LJ, that is length of side of weld parallel to the direction of a load, is greater than 150 times of throat thickness, then we have to use reduction factor on long joint. If it is greater than 150, we will call it as a long joint. Then if it is a long joint, then we have to use the reduction factor. That reduction factor formula is beta LW is equal to 1.20 minus 0.2 into Lj, that is length of side weld, divided by 150 into T suffix T. This reduction factor less than or equal to 1.0. It should not be above 1. It should be less than or equal to 1.0. If that long joint is greater than 150 times of TT, that is effective throat thickness, we will call it as a long joint. So due to the long joint, the shear stress in terminating point will be higher. The terminating point, it will be higher. It will be high. So if the shear stress is high, strain will not be uniform. Strain is non-uniform. So once the strain is non-uniform, the load distribution also non-uniform. We need a uniform distribution. So if the shear stress in the terminating point if it is high, strain will non-uniform and the stress distribution also non-uniform. So in order to that, we are using the reduction factor to reduce the axial load in the member. Axial load in a member. So if the axial load is reduced in the member, the load at the terminating point will be in the maximum load range, so that the section will be safe. Next is working stress design concept for the fillet weld. Short form, we will call it as WSM as per IS 800 1984. Shear strength of the fillet weld PS is found out by effective sectional area, that is AE, into permissible shear stress in the weld, tau VF. So here it is LW into PT tau VF. This is the working stress method. Next is intermittent fillet weld. When we use the intermittent fillet weld, is length of weld is less than the length of application. We will use this intermittent fillet weld. So this is our member. this member we are using intermediate fillet weld here, okay, intermediate fillet weld. So the minimum length required for this one, the minimum length of weld is, it should not less than 4x or 40 mm, whichever is more, whichever is more. The spanning, this is the clear spanning. This clear spanning, clear spacing, not spanning, it is a spacing, clear spacing, it should not greater than 12t or 200 mm, whichever is less, if it is in compression. If the same intermediate fillet weld is in tension, it should not greater than 16t or 200 mm, whichever is less, if it is in tension. Why we providing the intermediate fillet weld means, if you have to do the fillet weld for a long section, sometimes what will happen, due to the long sections of a member, the member gets chance to fail due to buckling. To avoid the buckling, we provide fillet weld throughout the length of the member. So then why we are giving the clear spacing to the intermediate fillet weld means, to eliminate the local buckling between the intermittent fillet weld. Intermediate fillet weld is provided to avoid the buckling of a member. The clear spacing of the intermediate fillet welding is to avoid the local buckling between the intermediate fillet weld. So this is the design procedures of the, or the specification of the fillet weld. Next we see the design of butt weld or groove weld. This butt weld or groove weld adopted when two members are joined on same plane. They are designed for axial stresses under concentric load. These butt welds are to be specified with their throat, is also known as effective throat thickness. So assume this is in member 1, this is in member 2, it is joining in the same plane. So here we will use a butt weld. What happened, the section will be formed, it will fill the welding. So this is the butt weld. Next, what are the types of butt weld? There are two types. One is partially penetrated butt welds and fully penetrated butt welds. Partially penetrated butt welds are also called as single butt welds. Fully penetrated butt welds are also called as double butt welds. That means if you are connecting the members, only up to here only it will welded, rest it will be not welded, that is single partially penetrated or single butt welds. Whereas in the fully penetrated, it will go inside the overall it will go overall. So this is the partial and fully penetrated butt welds. This partial is classified in under it is in the partial we have single V butt weld, single U butt weld and a single J butt weld. In the fully penetrated double V, W and double J. These U and J butt welds are not exist in practice, only we use the V butt, whether it is a single or double, we use the V butt. The next important specification in the butt weld is effective throat thickness, T suffix E. A single V butt is symboled by V, it is like V and here. The effective throat thickness is 5 by 8 into T, whereas it is a double V, then its symbol is TE is equal to T. TE is equal to T. If it is U butt, single U butt, well, it is 5 by 8 into TT. If it is double U butt, it is T is equal to T. This T is equal to thickness of thinner connected member. So thinner connected member. The design procedure. First one is the limit state design concept as per IS 800 2007. The design axial strength of butt weld is equal to effective cross sectional area into design axial stress in design axial stress in weld and member, it is find out by LW into TE, that is effective length into throat thickness. This design axial stress is yield stress divided by partial safety factor. This partial safety factor is equal to 1.25 for workshop welding and 1.50 for site or field welding. The working stress design concept, the design axial strength of butt weld is equal to effective area into permissible axial stress in weld, TF. This AE is effective length into throat thickness into sigma TF. So this is the design of axial strength of butt weld in the working stress concept. So this video we covered the design procedures and the specification of fillet weld and the butt weld. In the upcoming videos we see the problems related to the fillet weld. Thank you.